Hello, everybody. Welcome to Realtor Reputation. I'm April Lopez.
And I'm Shannon Howard Bisorti.
And we have a really good episode 10 for you today. But if you haven't tuned into our previous episodes, we went on tour last week.
Yeah, we went on a road trip.
So tune into that one. It was a lot of fun. The camera was a little close to my face in the car, but day in the life. Join in. So today we have a really great episode for you. Let's just get into it with our mom moment of the week. And I know that Shanna's got a good one. I haven't, by the way, we try to go into this like we like our reactions to these stories. So we go into it and I have no idea what she's going to talk about. So anyway, there's that. So
okay, so yesterday I am on broker tour here in Petaluma, and all of a sudden my phone goes off and it's like ping, Petaluma PD, explosion at junior high school.
Oh no.
I have a daughter who goes there. And I'm like, what? Explosion. And I'm like, what? And so my husband's like texting me and I'm like all the way on the west side trying to get my coffee from our friend Rob's coffee cart. Like I'm on tour. Like, why are you bothering me? I'm trying to work, people.
Because as we know, if you watch, we love food and we love coffee and we love anything.
Gotta have it.
Treats.
So anyway, so I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to talk to another colleague and I'm like, hold on, I gotta go. And so now I'm like, my husband's calling me. He's like, oh my God, you gotta get to school. You know, there's been an explosion. I don't know if it's an active shooter. Like there's like all kinds of stuff happening. And I hear like from everywhere in town, sirens and
oh my gosh,
it is so scary. And so then luckily I want to give it up to Mr. Maury, who's our principal there. He got on Parent Square, and I'm sure if you live in Petaluma, you know, or you probably have something similar. Yeah. It's kind of a way to get out and text alerts. And I just want to say, like, parents, if you're not signed up for this, like, you need to be, because the reasoning behind it is because what the police put out was so terrifying to parents that Mr. Maury got on and he said, you know, we have police on the scene. It's okay. There's no injuries. It looks like it's isolated to one incident and it's a firecrackers or fireworks in a bathroom. So don't, you know what I mean? Like, don't.
It's not like a huge, like the building has blown up.
So in the meantime, this is how like my life goes. My other daughter who goes to another school here in town is on spring break, and her friend who is homeschooled, I said, why don't you have her over yesterday? So innocent enough, they're making like Taylor Swift friendship bracelets. And I'm like, I'm just going to go look at these three house girls. Yeah. Here's some money if you want to go to Starbucks, because we live by a Starbucks. Go get yourself. So as these poor two little girls are walking to Starbucks, they don't know what's happening. There's ambulances, there's fire trucks. Every single police officer, every single fire truck is like pulling in. And, you know, her sister goes there. So she's like terrified.
Oh my gosh.
And then all kids are like running, like off campus. There's teachers like chasing them because kids didn't know. They thought it was like a shooter. So
that sounds like utter chaos.
So kids are running to like the elementary school, which is down the street. A couple of them, there's videos are jumping fences, like teachers are running. Now, needless to say, the staff, this was just a few isolated children, but the staff, I want to just make sure to give them credit. They did an excellent job. Yeah. So they tell Abby and her friend, you girls need to get back to class. And they're both like, we don't go here.
We're just trying to get a latte.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I've got two kids involved that shouldn't be.
My goodness.
Anyway, so I'm like rushing across town, you know, trying to get there. And, you know, when I got to school, like some of the, you know, police had already started to leave, but they were, you know, and there was a line of about, you know, 75 to 100 parents waiting to get their kids. I'm, you know, calling my daughter and texting her. And so I just get in line because I figured she's probably scared. And my daughter has some special needs, and like I just know like loud noises and stuff make her really nervous. But you know, it was really just as a parent scary because we live in a society, as you probably know, where we don't just get to have earthquake or fire drill. We have to have shooter drills.
Oh my God, I hate it.
And it's really awful. It's awful for these kids. It's extremely traumatizing. And I watched as I stood in the office, every single child come out, you know, and be hugged by a parent, a grandparent, or a friend that was picking them up. And I would say 1 out of 3 would burst into tears as they exited. They worked so hard to like hold it together.
I cry when others cry.
No,
so
I
there's
know.
a thing.
And I think like, for these kids that they thought this was a prank or whatever, I don't know what they were trying to do, but it was an M1000, which is more than like a M80. This is like
these
a
are
stick of
loud.
dynamite.
Yeah.
They put it in the toilet. The whole
No.
toilet blew. I think it caught on fire. So
Oh my God.
no, it was like, and when I was in the office, there was police, interviewing kids, like witnesses. But the Nixle went out last night that they did arrest the 2 kids and
Just pranksters.
whatever. But I mean, I really hope, like, in the sake of like parents, like their parents have to pay for that.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, the trauma that you cause the kids, the staff, the chaos, and then every single law enforcement officer in town. And, that's a lot of resources.
I will say we've had, I think it was maybe last year, we had like an active shooter. That's the drill.
Yeah,
that we went. But there was somebody like in the creek that was next to the school. And then same, like chaos is created by the Nixles that go out, by the police department, which is fine. But then of course, like, everybody's frantic and they're trying to get a hold of their kids.
And you don't know, like,
and like, where are my children? And then of course I send text message. We have a group text with my 2 kids, my 2 teenagers, and I'll be like, if you need to shank somebody, you can shank them. I see her and my son. Well, my kids are very, very witty. And they're, honestly, to be frank, they're smart asses. So I'm always like, dude, it's okay to duck, cover, and shank if you need to shank. Like, I'm like,
when I tell my daughter, we
it's
live close
scary.
to school, and I'm like, if you need to run home, you run home, and
But on the other hand, too,
you
like,
want to listen to the teachers.
Sure. And we were joking around about it, but we knew, it wasn't as serious as it was. Of course, if it was a serious situation, like, it would be a whole nother conversation.
Well, I think, I think it's like a heightened alert because in some of our, Santa Rosa schools this year, there was unfortunately, there's been stabbings and there was unfortunately like a self-defense murder that occurred in class with teachers. Yeah. And that's, so you just don't know what's happening. And it's just, I don't know where like you get these ideas. I remember like kids, like there would be like a final when I was in high school, and I remember kids like dared somebody to like pull the fire alarm, and that was like the extent of like you were like, ooh, But this is like a whole new level, like bringing like dynamite and blowing things up.
So my sister, I at least have a connection because my sister is the what do they call it? The yard supervisor, whatever they call him. I don't know her exact title, but I at least have the benefit of I can text my sister and be like, WTF, what's going on? I need to know ASAP. Am I like rushing over there or not rushing over there? Yeah. And then my husband, he works in the same town that my kids go to school. So that's always great because I'm like, dude, you should be on the road already.
Yeah.
And he is like, if he gets a Nixle, he's like, oh, on my way.
I'm on my way. Yeah. On my way. My brother, who's a police officer, was nice because my husband and I text him and he could like kind of tap in and see like, it's okay. Like, don't panic. Like, it's fine. It's all okay. But I think just a lesson, as parents, it's something we have to deal with. So that was my mom moment yesterday. I'm still a little traumatized from it.
I would be.
Safi went to dance last night, but she cried for 30 minutes in my arms when she got home, just because it was just,
baby.
She just did. She's like, I didn't know what to do. Like, Mom, like I was scared, like it was loud. And it's not just her. It's like everybody doesn't know what to do. And I think everyone's trying to hold it together. And once again, like, thank goodness, nobody was hurt. It was a prank, but it's just something else that like adds anxiety, stress.
The way I always see it too, like of course we all hate these scenarios in this situation, but I always tell my kids like, okay, this is an opportunity. Let's have a discussion.
Absolutely.
So now that this has happened, what is going to be our reaction if this were truth and something really was happening?
Exactly what we did last night.
It's a learning experience. Like, let's have the conversation. As much as Mom was kidding about shanking somebody, like, I'm cool if you shank somebody. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the conversation we have. But we talk about like the experience. Okay, well, where would you go? What would you do?
Yes,
Where's our meeting spots? I'm very big, and a little fun fact about April, I used to teach CPR and first aid. I still kind of teach CPR and first aid, but
I got my last certification through April.
Yes. So, but I'm really big on, I work with a lot of EMT, firefighters, medical personnel. and we go through the scenarios of safety and what does that mean for you. So, in home safety, if there were a fire, where's our meeting point? So anyway, I can go on and on and on.
And I think your story of like why, you became certified to do that is like really valuable.
Absolutely.
Because, you never know when there's going to be an emergency and if you weren't certified or,
yes,
I
did. So okay, now
tell your story.
We'll go off topic, but I started teaching CPR back in like 2008, 2009, because I had to perform CPR on somebody at one of my husband's softball games. So it was a life-changing experience, truly life-changing for me.
But weren't you like even more surprised that like there was so many people just standing there that didn't know what to do?
Oh, absolutely. Like,
I think, you think of sometimes like your kids, like in this situation, but grown adults don't know what to do.
Oh, totally. Especially in an emergency. So that was my big thing about teaching CPR is making sure everybody has that awareness. If you have never taken a CPR class, my little shout out is go onto YouTube. If you're already watching, you're already on YouTube. That go and Google hands-only CPR because it is something that is saving lives. And when I was in this scenario, I was at his softball game. And there was probably maybe 40, 50 people there. And there were two of us who actually performed CPR.
This is an amazing story.
Yeah, we ended up saving.
True hero for both of you.
Thank you.
No, but it's so true. Like, I was forced to be certified, one, because I worked in a youth organization, two, because was a foster parent. You had to be. And now I just continually keep it up because I was a coach for, and it's so important. And when I took your class this last time, like I think it was last year when she taught our office here at Vanguard, I didn't know about, we didn't have hands only last time. Last time it wasn't. So it was really cool, even though, you've taken it, 10 times, it was really cool to learn a new way.
Totally. And within Sonoma County now, all of the 7th grade students are being taught hands-on CPR. And there's been a lot of success stories of our 7th graders saving parents, grandparents, and just other people in the community. So I could go on and on about
it's
CPR, but
lessons.
It is. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Safety is really, really huge for me as far as just safety within my home, safety with my kids. So anyway, if you want to talk offline, I could talk offline.
Yeah, but if you ever have any questions, but definitely Google that. And the last thing to say that I also learned from you is there's defibrillators.
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
There is actually like a website you can go to, and it actually tells you in town where the closest defibrillators are.
Yeah.
Because those are also life-saving.
Absolutely.
And I think that we have one in our office. We also are across the street from the fire department. But I mean, it's important to know these things.
It is. We do have the benefit of having the fire guys right next door. We also have the benefit of them. Don't they play a softball game in downtown?
We should look that up. Should we sponsor them?
We should. Kidding, not kidding. Okay, so let's move on to our next section, which is our Swiftie Sell of the Month. So we found a really good one for you, and this is semi-close to home in Oakland, California, and it is the one and only Steph Curry's home. So he had a condo in Oakland, I'm assuming because it was just right next to the stadium. So he had put that on the market for 1.7. It just recently sold, I believe, on the 1st. So it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, just under 1,700 square feet. So not huge, for $1.7 million.
So he got asking.
Yeah. Well, I think it sold for just under that. I've been trying to find all of the details, but
yeah.
But, I think it sold for like 1.6 and some change-ish. But, is that crazy? Crazy
it is. And I kind of wonder about that because, the Warriors moved to San Francisco, and now
I know he bought another penthouse in the city.
Yeah, probably be there, but they moved. So then you have people kind of moving out that were keeping real estate values and the town kind of up. Yeah, because people would go and bring taxes and stuff, and now the A's are moving.
I just was reading that article this morning.
It's crazy. Yeah, and poor Oakland.
Well, I mean, the Raiders went to Vegas, and then now
that's what I mean.
The A's are going to Vegas.
But they've lost all of their
teams.
I know.
That's crazy.
Bummer.
I mean, I love a good Warriors game. It used to be so great going to Oakland. I don't mind going to the Chase Center because it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
I have not been yet.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful.
If you want to just fly me in with you, just let me know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have this podcast in the booth.
I was just actually telling somebody I went to opening night at the Chase Center. To the
Day in the life of a Lopez.
Day in the life. I went to opening night at the Chase Center and we went and saw Metallica with the San Francisco Symphony.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
The show was just magical. I grew up on Metallica.
Me too.
Like that, dude, I loved it. So, but that first night at the Chase, they didn't really have their shit together. We'll put it that way. And we were in a suite, and they had put
April was in a suite.
But they had put glass on the open shelving in the suite. And if
So was it rattling?
Yeah. So if you've seen, so when I say that this was like an intense magical night, I mean, just imagine Metallica like doing their thing and the whole stadium was like shaking and the glass was rattling off the shelves and breaking. So the supervisor was in the suite. And I was like,
holding all the glass?
We're obviously watching the show. And I turn around and I was like, what's going on? And
Is there an earthquake?
Oh, there's glass everywhere.
my
So
God.
now if you go to a suite, they have plastic in there now. But I don't know. The show.
That sounds
So
amazing.
anyway, point of the story, the Chase is just, it's a cool spot. I
Yeah.
really like it. But there's lots of levels. Like stairs, escalators, like stuff everywhere.
I wonder if
but
it's like SoFi, probably in LA.
I haven't been to SoFi.
That's where I saw Taylor Swift
Yeah.
this year, and that was pretty phenomenal.
Oh, I'm sure.
That they kind of had down and up and
Yeah.
all over. And the best part of it was when we got to go in. I felt like in April that day I had VIP access.
Oh, yeah.
Not on the floor, but I was in a suite. I was in my first suite ever, which was amazing.
Really? That was the first time you've been in a suite?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So we got to go in, and then we got access to the merch. So we had like our own. They had like suite.
That's exactly
merch.
when we went to Taylor Swift. Same thing.
And I had been hearing all these like horror stories, and I don't say it to like brag, but I was the only adult with my two kids, so I really liked the safety of it, just knowing, and I just felt like so cool. Like we're only in line for like 15 minutes, and I was literally like buying everything I could find. I was like texting my friends, like, "Do you need a shirt? Do you need this?"
So when we went to Levi's. And
That's where we saw Taylor Swift the last time, but we were like in the nosebleeds, and I swear I'll never sit up there again because I basically had an anxiety attack, and it felt like an earthquake.
I will not. I truly believe in I'll pay the price to be comfortable. So when we went to Levi's, my daughter was super nervous about the merch because she really wanted the blue sweater.
Oh yes, the crew neck.
The crew neck, yeah.
That was sold out when I got there.
Does it have a zipper?
I don't know.
Anyway, she's got a few of them, but she was so nervous that she went and stood in the semi-truck line. Did you know?
Oh yeah, they had them.
So then somebody had bought it. The person before her bought the last one. So she was like devastated. And I was like,
Did she start to cry?
I had bought VIP tickets. So we did have that club level access. And then she's like, oh, Mom, there's a line right there. And I was like, yeah, you just didn't believe me.
Yeah.
So she stood
What
in line.
do you know?
She stood in line for like an hour. And then we go there and she's like, oh, yeah, there was nobody in line. I was like,
Well, I'm really happy because if we would have stood in line for the trucks, then we wouldn't have gotten. We were like really like our line to get in was we got there early. It was really little. So we got, you know what I mean? Because by the time we walked back around, that VIP line was way out. And people were like literally stopping us like with our bags, like, where did you get that?
and because she keeps convincing me, she's like, or trying to convince me, she's like, can we go? Like she has a friend going to the show that's in Canada.
Oh, me too. Our friend's going. I'm not going, but my
I
friend
thought
is.
you were going.
No, and then they're also going to New Orleans.
Oh, nice.
Like they just like got all these tickets.
Well, she's like, can we go to the Canada show? And I was like, I'm not flying to Canada to go see Taylor Swift. I was like, go on. So I said, go on Disney Plus and you can watch the Eras tour.
Again. I told her, it's so funny. We have a better chance of going. I think there was still tickets to see the Kelsey brothers in Cleveland on the New Heights show.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
That would be fun.
We should another road trip. Road trip. Maybe they'll see this New Heights podcast.
Yeah, but it was just really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry, we got off topic. So anyway, Steph Curry's house, it's sold. Great. It's in a luxury apartment area in Oakland, but yeah, that's our Swiftie sell. Now, let's go on to like.
Okay, I have some questions, like some real estate questions for you.
I'm here for it.
So have you ever, because I feel like inventory is low, as we've talked about. We're now in this official, it's April, not April Fools, it's April, beginning of April.
Yeah.
Your birthday month.
I know.
And there's a time when, you know, you work really hard with a client as a buyer, and sometimes like their situation makes it harder to get a house, whether it's, you know, the price point or a contingent house when there's low, when they have a house to sell and there's low inventory. Have you ever been in a situation where you worked really hard and then you got them into the house that they thought was their dream house and they were so excited, and you're like, you know, releasing contingencies or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're still on their alerts and another one pops up and then they have like regret or buyer's remorse, or they start doubting themselves?
Oh, all the time. It's really hard because we live in a time of like the convenience of like just clicking and thinking that that's the best option for us, or, you know, especially when you're on Zillow or Redfin or whatever you're searching on. I have my own portal that I send things to.
Me too.
And I stop those alerts for people.
Oh, I should do that.
Yeah, I stop them. But, you know, the conversations I have with my clients are, what is meant to be is meant to be.
I have that.
And
that's my line always.
You know, we're like the same.
I know, we're like
samesies. But, you know, you can't get caught up in what if, because you never know the situation of that seller or that house or that person. And you could have done your investigations and there was so much past work that you didn't want to get into that. Every scenario is going to be different. And especially if you're a contingent, you never know if your offer would have been accepted on that one. So stop, turn off your alerts. Like, I have those conversations of, sure, you can continue to look at houses, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that was going to be your house.
Correct. And I think once again, we sort of talked about what a buyer wants in this market, and not just in this last situation that I had this week, but a buyer is very motivated and excited, I feel, about the glossy, turnkey ready house that's beautifully staged. And I feel that that really appeals to more people than the house where they have to come in and get a contractor and do some work. Not for everybody.
Sure.
But you are paying that premium a lot of times for that turnkey property. And as we see, those are the ones that tend to get the multiple offers and the overage of bids. Yeah. Because it's convenient factor, right? And a lot of times, like, who doesn't love a model home that's staged? Yeah. And
that's my hope, because I have one on the market that's staged and beautiful.
Right. But I'm just saying, so the house, like my clients were buying, it had been on the market. In my opinion, it showed terribly. They're getting it for $150,000, and the last one on the street sold for last year. And it doesn't need a ton of work, and they know that, and they see the potential. And they can make it their own, and they can use like high quality upgrades versus, you know, the gloss to get it market ready. And they know that. And, you know, we had a conversation last night, and they're very happy about their choice. But it was just that moment of doubt.
Totally.
And I think it's also like they're also selling their house. And I think, you know, they know what to do. And they did all of the things like this other one that came on the market. You know, and it looks glossy and pretty and ready to go. And I think sometimes when people do all that work, they don't understand why others don't do that or prep it. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. And I think especially, well, with buy and sell, there are so many levels of emotions that you're going to go through.
So many.
Because the stress of just the purchase, you know, your finances. I mean, there's so many questions.
The situation, like you said earlier.
And I don't know. It brings a conversation I had recently with somebody who they don't know the daily ins and outs of what I do. And there are so many levels to our job, and one of them is coaching people and coaching them through the level of emotions that they're going through on a regular basis. I try to stay I over communicate that. Like, that's part of my spiel that I tell people, like, I'm going to become your best friend because I love to over communicate about everything. But I think it's important to do so because I want to try to hopefully catch it before it becomes a stress, right?
And I say I'm here because I take the stress off of you and I carry your stress, so you don't have to.
Yeah. I
Right?
wake up at 2:00 in the morning every single
With my
night.
notepad by my bed and write
yeah.
things down. Yeah.
Oh, I actually have to go through my notes on my phone and like delete them because I was like, oh, that was a random thought at 2 a.m.
Yeah. But no, I think that that's important. And I think that if you are getting your home ready, lesson learned for this spring, I think it is a great idea to bring in a professional, a realtor, to go through your house with you, because there are things that we see, and I think we've talked about this before, that you don't necessarily need to spend the money on.
Yes.
That, it's not going to make a difference, but there are things, I went to a house, a listing this last week, and there were significant things. There was big pieces of, drywall missing behind a toilet and some grout that needed to be fixed. And
That sounds like a fun one.
well, it wasn't even bad. It was like something a handyman can do.
Yeah.
And, the counter, it needs a new counter, but there was like little things. But if you don't fix those little things, what happens is a buyer, not all buyers, but a lot of buyers walk in and they start discounting your house. And I say it like right away, they start immediately discounting your house.
Yes.
And they start thinking like, oh my God, this is going to cost this, and this is this, and this and this. And pretty soon they are hyperventilating because a lot of times people, they don't have a construction background.
Right.
And they don't know what it costs. And they don't know how to do it. They go online and you can make a pretty Pinterest board.
Sure.
And you can watch all the home improvement channels. But does Joanna Gaines tell you, oh, by the way, the kitchen I just put in was $130,000?
Absolutely.
Does she tell you that?
It all comes at a price.
Yeah.
It all
So
comes at
I
a
think
price.
it's just, if you're getting your house ready, which a lot of people are, we hope to see more inventory soon. Just make sure to bring somebody by and get those things fixed and make it, stage it, make it look good. And then, you will have multiple offers or lots of interest.
I was showing a fixer-upper last week, I think, to a client who is actually a really good friend of ours. So I'm super brutally honest with them,
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm brutally honest with everybody, but because it was him, and I was like, yo, dude. Like, yo, here's where we're at. And we stood outside, and he's like, I don't know if I can take on this project. And I said, okay, here's my checklist. Are you ready for it? He's like, yeah, give it to me. I was like, 20 grand for the roof.
Yep.
You're going to have to start. I would probably redo the drywall if it were me. And he's like, no, I think we'd be good at, okay, fine. Baseboards, plumbing, kitchen, bathrooms, this, that, this, landscaping. I was like, exterior siding, trim, windows. And he's like, and I would just, this is my estimate. This is my cost. This is my cost. And he looks at me and his eyes are wide and he's like, yeah, I don't think this is the house for me.
Well, and I had that situation too, because I have some out-of-state clients and I was videoing this house that they saw online and it looked like a good deal.
Yeah.
And then the
best don't always do it justice.
No, but the best part is when people are like remodeled bathrooms and they were newer, but they are like our kids could have put them in.
Oh yeah.
There's like gaps. It was like the cheapest products.
Yeah, I definitely.
So I basically was
quality.
like, my response was, that was rough.
Yeah.
And I went through the list. They're like, well, what do you think it would cost about it? And I go, and then here's the court with all the cars parked in it. Because, it's not just the inside, it's the whole, if you go and do that work and you go to sell the house,
right?
Are you going to recoup your value?
That's
and I
exactly.
think that's the most important part.
And that's the conversation we had is by the time it's all said and done and you throw in 150 to 200, sure, I totally believe in sweat equity. That is what my husband and I have done every single one of our houses.
Our experiences.
But sometimes if, I say, if we're going to put an offer in at this amount, but it's going to cost you 150 to 200 here, are you overpricing yourself in that neighborhood at that point? Like you've just, are you going to recoup your value? And if you're going to live there for 30 years, love it. Do it.
If it's like my other line is always, if you're buying the worst house in the best neighborhood, that's different, right?
Absolutely.
But if you're, buying something because inventory is short, you think you're going to,
totally.
It's not forever, don't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. I love my house. My husband's ready to sell it.
Really?
Always. Did we have this conversation before?
I think
he sells me. He's my worst client ever. He sells me listings. I mean, he sends me listings.
My husband does too.
Every single day. And I was like, maybe that one has potential. If it has a pool, FYI, if you're selling a house that has a pool, let me know. Send it. because we're putting it in a pool, and it's just such a process.
so expensive.
I mean, it's
nowadays.
been like a 2-year process, and we've been like saving up for this point, but oh my God, it's giving me a headache. So that's where we're at. But I think
we're done for the day. What do you think?
I think so too. So
Thanks for listening to my mom moments and keeping your family safe.
right,
And getting your house ready for spring.
yes,
We are officially in spring.
Oh, the hustle and bustle of life is happening right
It is
now.
like hard to keep up.
Somebody asked me yesterday, they're like, how do you do it all? And I was like, that's a loaded question. How do I do it all? I was like, I make time for everything.
Well, if you saw our day in the life episode, we eat in the car.
Yes.
And we drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I should never admit to this about texting and driving, but I was driving yesterday and I was like, I have to put my phone down. Like I can't, I need to start leaving it in the back in the trunk because
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
think that's a good idea. Me too.
I mean, my car will talk to me text, but sometimes I'm like, wait, what did it say?
Yeah.
But even just that is a distraction.
So now I put one of my kids in the front and I'm like, here, text this.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
but now
my
my kids are with me.
I know.
Bea's driving all the time now, which is great. So,
I'm terrified.
but I get to places on time now. So that's how I do it all, is because now I'm not running behind. I've still got a few more years of that. I know. Good luck.
Uber driver in the afternoon.
But thank you everybody for liking, subscribing,
Oh,
sharing.
in our
all
next
of our
episode, you have one more week to comment about our book because we are doing our drawing next week. I have the copy. I'm ready to go. We'll do our
Perfect.
drawing and give it away next week.
Maybe we'll do it like in an Instagram story.
Ooh, yeah,
maybe, or
let's do
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure out how we're gonna
And
do
then
it.
did I
So-
tell you what's really exciting that Tracy commented on our
know.
the author? She's commented on
love
our
it.
Instagram.
I love it. So I have it already downloaded on my Audible right now, but I have to finish my other book before I start it, but I'm excited for it.
Okay,
So
good.
Anyway. All right, everybody. Have an amazing Thursday. We'll see you later.
Bye.